Here we go, another great Dave and Amber show. And we are thrilled to have Lisa Rose from one of our founding sponsors, LifeScan. Lisa is the Chief Marketing Officer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dave. Good to be here.
Chief Marketing Officer. Just give us a one sentence exactly what does that title look like? Because it sounds pretty intense.
Well, I lead the marketing organization for LifeScan across the globe. And primarily what we do is try to help the company think through the strategic direction and support our brand OneTouch in all the different facets of messaging, advertising, promotion, et cetera. And then most importantly, actually help our R&D and technical centers understand what the consumer needs, right? What do people with diabetes, what are they telling us, the gaps are in the marketplace? What products should we design? Where should we head in terms of innovation? And then, what type of programs should we bring that might support them? And that's what brings us here today, right? With Talking Type U. So,
well, we'll get to Type U, but, we always ask, now you don't have diabetes, correct?
I don't. I'm actually relatively new to this space.
Yeah, we always start with somebody's diabetes journey. So tell us yours. How the hell did you get here?
How did I get here? I spent half my career in consumer marketing with a company called Procter Gamble, doing all kinds of new products. One of them you may know, like Swiffer. So, innovation, branding, a lot of experience there. And then I spent the last half of my career in healthcare. I started with Novartis, Vision, contact lenses, Alcon, cataract surgery, and then moved on to Abbott Diagnostics, pathology, testing, HbA1c, know it well, right? HIV, all kinds of different cardiac markers. So, and then my last stint was actually in Vyaire in respiratory care, right during the height of COVID, actually working on ventilators and helping patients, right, get the masks that they need and all this kind of stuff that was just, it was amazing amount of effort across the company to do that. Anyway, so following that, I met Val, who's a super passionate CEO, has been in the diabetes care space for a very long time. And she said, hey, I need somebody who can help move us into digital health and wellness and bring some more innovation strategies to bear. And that's how I joined LifeScan. And, it's been a great learning journey for me to really get to know people with diabetes more deeply, trying to understand the disease and the issues in managing the disease over a lifetime, right? Can't say I know it personally, but I do feel like I've been able to have a lot of interviews with people to learn more about what they go through. It's a really, eye-opening experience.
In an ironic way, you're kind of our target audience because, the diabetes way isn't just about like Amber and I, we have type 1, and like people like you don't have it, touched by it. And so, you're a perfect example of what we're trying to shoot for here. And tell us about this program, this type 2, I forgot the name of it now.
Talking Type U.
Talking Type U. Thank you.
Great interview question right there, David.
Yeah, isn't that a good one?
Yep. So Talking Type U, I'm super excited to share with you a little bit more about it. I know you chatted already with Mike Golick, who has been helping us bring Talking Type U to life. It's a program really where I think at LifeScan, we were inspired to want to help people from the standpoint of bringing more conversation into the open, right? It's an epidemic level kind of disease where, unfortunately, more and more people. It's a great program. It's inspired by really a need to bring more discussion out in the open about managing this disease wherever you are in your journey, and having a playbook that includes friends and family and not feeling any sort of shame or stigma around it, right? And really being able to get more support where and when you need it within your journey. I think at LifeScan, one of the observations we really have is, people have different needs at different points in their journey, right? It's not one size fits all. It's not every time you have a low, you should be told you need orange juice. It should be more about.
I'm sorry, Hershey bars are better for lows than orange juice. I'm just telling you, every time I get to eat them.
What do you need to live your life in a positive way, right? What is the support and help that you need to make positive change and thrive, right? And having talked to a lot of people with diabetes, and we actually have a lot of people with diabetes in LifeScan as well, of course. And, the consistent refrain is, hey, we need more personalization. We need access to broader support for our life, for lifestyle, for wellness. And so that's the journey we're on. We're on the journey of.
Is this a separate site or is it part of, and this is a perfect lead in for you, is it part of OneTouch Solutions or is it a separate thing?
Yeah, so thank you, Dave. It's a great segue. We're building a health tech kind of construct that will marry clinical data, wellness data, and really bring it back to people with diabetes in a very personalized fashion, right? So we're building this idea of a digital health exchange. And as part of that, what we want to do is bring that out in the open, that more and more people will talk about diabetes, have a playbook around diabetes that's broader than just glucose management. And that's why we've set up a lot of partnerships. So we set up partnerships with Noom, Fitbit, WellDocs, Acia Health, and we're not done. There'll be more. But people who are best in class in their fields for what they bring in terms of services and support. And we're putting them together under the umbrella of OneTouch Solutions. And OneTouch Solutions today is a one-stop shop in terms of access to these programs as part of your diabetes management. We're connecting glucose data to all of these various digital apps. And we're building, like I said, this ecosystem that will ultimately enable people to really personalize how they receive the data, what data they want to receive, and what they want to do with it to know more about how their choices in life impacts their glucose and their ability to manage their glucose levels.
One of the things I want to say to that is, because I've said this often, people diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, you know that you're going to become insulin dependent. I mean, there's no way around that. And I'm going to say, preach to people, you've got to figure out what works best for you.
That's right.
I really feel for the type 2 community because a lot of people are just given the diagnosis, but not given the tools necessary to succeed. So I feel like this program in particular, individualizing it, empowering the patient to ask the right questions and giving them maybe a one-stop shop of tools in order to have better management and what that looks like. And you guys also provide educational materials along the way, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we have, like I said, we're kind of mirroring the more clinical. So Acia Health has diabetes education specialists on staff. You can text them. You can talk to them live. WellDoc is a multi-condition app that helps you manage hypertension, mental health, in addition to your glucose management, all in one stop, your lab data. I mean, everything. It's an amazing app. With wellness, right? So Fitbit, a standard activity tracker, and all of the great data points that comes with Fitbit in your premium subscription, all included for sleep, right? For knowing, how does my glucose level look when I'm exercising, right? All of the great insights that you want to put the two together. Similarly, Noom, right? The Noom program is actually a dedicated program for people with diabetes. So it's not their standard general population, but they actually customized a program for OneTouch Solutions to bring forward a better approach for people with diabetes. So yeah, we're really excited about OneTouch Solutions, but we're excited about bringing the conversation to the forefront, right? Back to talking type U. I think the real insight behind OneTouch Solutions was everybody, and you said it, Amber, everybody's at a different point in their journey, and what works for one person isn't always going to work for another person. And that's what Mike really emphasizes, right? When you talk to him or when he's interviewing people, what he really is unearthing and uncovering and trying to bring out for people is this idea of, hey, it's okay. We understand it's not standard. It's not one size fits all. It's one day you're up, one day you're down. You know what? That's how it's going to work. And let's help you with more insights so that you can manage it better, right? And have a support network around you.
It's interesting given that, you are touched by diabetes, you don't have it. Was there anything that shocked you? Like when you started to get into this world and oh my God, I didn't know this.
Yeah, I will tell you, I think, and again, back to the inspiration behind this program and OneTouch Solutions, we did an interview with this lady. She had diabetes. She was type 2 and had diabetes for about 12 years it was. And she's in a retail setting for a job. And the moderator was asking her a little bit about her experience and what it was like to live with diabetes. And she said, I just many, many times feel like this world is not meant for me.
It's terrible.
Yeah. It was heartbreaking. Honestly, it was hard. The way she said it was heartbreaking. And the reason she was saying that is because, right, if she had to go take a break to test her glucose level because she was feeling low, or she had to go eat something because she was feeling, right, that she needed to get some more carbs, her managers who didn't have diabetes didn't understand. They're like, no, you wait for your break.
Oh, ADA will give you some tips on that because that
right. And so, I mean, this was she was facing day in, day out. It was grueling, and it was so hard. And she felt like she was being judged constantly when she was eating, right, something, that wasn't lunch but a snack. Like she just felt under constant pressure And it was heartbreaking, which is, again, I was like, you know what, we need to do this with Mike, and we need to bring Talking Type U out and try to get it as much airtime as possible. People need to talk about diabetes, right? And we need to have it be accepted, and it's okay.
It is funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things Amber and I have talked about in some of our previous podcasts is, we're regular people like anybody else. We happen to have a chronic disease, but it is, when you're with somebody who doesn't have it, and like last night I ate pizza. Okay, I can do that. I can compensate for that. But when somebody finds out you're diabetic and they see you eating pizza, they're like, "Wow,
right?
Like, yeah, we're normal. Well, most of us are normal." But
Yeah. No, I watched a podcast with Steve Edelman on can you eat donuts? Right? As a type 1.
Yeah.
And it was a great segment. It was eye-opening for me because, again, I'm new to this space, but I was like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. What you have to do to eat a donut, right? Oh, my gosh.
Right.
You have to compensate to do it, and you have to be mindful of your numbers and where you're trending. And
I'll tell you a really funny story since we're on the donut thing, and given what you guys do. So there are, I believe, I'm maybe this is wrong now, but I know, because I'm not using a meter, I'm using a CGM. But in order to do a meter test correctly, okay, I'm talking if you follow it by the book, like I believe there are 28 steps, okay? And one of those steps is wash your hands, okay? Now, I don't know any diabetic who washes their hands before they test for blood glucose, but somebody did point out to me, let's say that you happen to touch something with sugar, okay? And then you test your blood sugar. Well, your blood goes through your finger, goes through the sugar. So it
affects you
could get a false high because of that.
Right.
Well, I want to say something too about the story that you just shared with us about the woman with type 2. And I loved interviewing Mike. I think he's great. He's an incredible advocate for the type 2 community. But I want to hear more from the woman you're talking about, because she is definitely being touched by diabetes. And I guarantee that she goes home to her spouse or loved ones or family members, and she's probably feeling beat down. So how do we make sure that the whole family understands what the burden is or what she's going through so that we can all support each other?
Exactly. I agree with you completely. And that's breast cancer awareness. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job bringing awareness and acceptance and support to a really tragic disease, right? And, I was joking with my team about, now that we have Mike Golick on staff, right, can we get the NFL to agree to a color for diabetes? Because, right, the footballers all wear pink now.
Yeah, that beautiful blue,
Yes, that's what I was thinking, teal, just so it stands out a little more, right? Like blue. And we can have it on, World Diabetes Day, which is in November, which is the heart of football time, and get them all to work.
No, but it's funny that you mentioned that. But doesn't, if I remember correctly, doesn't like inside of OneTouch Solutions, isn't like some of the deals with the mental health of it? Isn't it? Okay.
Yes, our WellDoc program and Cecilia Health both have a mental health, support element to them. Yeah.
Now, could you explain to our listeners, because if I remember correctly, when you guys showed it to me, is it, and again, I apologize for not remembering exactly, but I even remember like you could buy two things or one thing or.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the comprehensive wellness package gives you access to all 4 programs for a monthly subscription fee, along with your strips and Lancets and whatever other supplies you might need. But you actually have the opportunity to custom build whatever approach you want. So if you just want weight loss or you just want to work with a Cecilia Health coach, these are all options on the site, and you can just, click and pick whatever it is you want. Like I said, alongside of your diabetes supplies, and we'll ship the diabetes direct to home. Your meter will connect to the apps, and just have a monthly subscription.
So inside of the app is all of the services they choose, correct? I mean, you have Gnome and you have, WellDoc and Fitbit.
Right.
It's not like 6 separate apps. It's all one app, right?
Well, right now, the app construct is what you choose. So right now it is feeding the app. So if you pick Noom, it'll feed the Noom app. If you were to go with the comprehensive wellness package, you would have 4 different apps at that point. Now, like I said, we're building the Eco Exchange. So in the near future, it'll all be integrated in the Reveal app. We're just not quite there yet.
Okay.
But yeah, at some point in the near future, we'll have it all available to you on OneTouch Reveal. But right now it is OneTouch meters directly to the specific apps that you choose.
Okay. And I'm assuming the way they find the saying, OneTouchSolutions.com, is that what we're...
Yes. You can go to onetouch.com. You can go to shop.onetouch.com. You can just Google OneTouch Solutions. And
Does Talking Type U have its own website?
Talking Type U is part of our onetouch.com site. And I highly encourage everyone to visit it. Mike Golick shares his story. He interviews John Kruk and Kyle Love. And we have a great sweepstakes as well that you can participate in for your own fitness gym or free comprehensive packages to OneTouch Solutions, right? So, yes.
So we win.
Sign up and you'll see if you win.
I love that. I need a home gym immediately. And
is that what it is? A home gym? Is that what you win?
The grand prize is a home gym, but we're also giving free OneTouch Solutions packages for the year.
Okay.
Also on the site as part of the sweeps. Yep.
Okay. And let me ask you a question for those people who, most people have a smartphone and have access to this, obviously, but for the people that can't afford a subscription, do you guys offer like patient assistance programs or anything like that for people that are underserved?
Yeah. So that's a great question. We are working on putting together an adjudicated model. So we're working actually with the payers and the PBMs right now.
Okay.
Talking to them and seeing what we can do to really provide greater access, because it is important that we do that.
What market are you really, and I know obviously you want to reach all people living with diabetes.
Yes.
But who is your target market at this time?
It really is all people with diabetes.
It's a lot of people.
Unfortunately, yes. And actually I think there's folks probably on the pre-diabetes side that could benefit too from the programs. I think the CDC data just came out, right? It's over 90 million people, 1 in 3 are pre-diabetic. So yeah, look, our core market and our core focus, of course, are people with diabetes. But in general, I think getting the word out with Talking Type U, getting the word, talking to your friends and family, right? Talking to your boss at work, your coworkers, feeling comfortable with this disease and who you are and what you have to do to manage it is super important. And that's what we're really focused on, alongside of bringing services and support with OneTouch Solutions, right? That can, bringing access again to different programs that might help you.
Well, I think that's one of the things too. And I know one of the harder groups to reach at this time is the medical community. They have so much going on. There are so many updates with drugs and the things that we need in order to manage this disease. So I hope that Dave and I in the show will hopefully reach those people touched by diabetes that are helping take care of the diabetes, will see the value in these programs and hopefully be able to share them with their patients.
No, that would be great, Amber. And, the other thing too, actually, Dave, you asked the question, what was surprising? I will tell you the other thing that was recently I heard a stat around how COVID is actually now also a driver to people who didn't have diabetes now having diabetes as a result of COVID experience.
There are some, there's no hard data yet, but there's empirical data that indicates as such, which is unfortunately a byproduct of COVID, which we're all unfortunately.
Right.
Yeah.
And people don't like talking about having COVID either, right?
True.
And so we need to be more supportive and embracing as a community, I think, in general, right? That it takes a village. It takes a village, right, to really live with a chronic disease.
Yeah.
Well, and one last question. When people go to or they look up Talking Type U, what can people expect when they get to the site or to that part of the site?
Sure. A couple of things. One, like I said, Mike will share his story, is sharing his story on Talking Type U. He actually, I also encourage going to the Rachel Ray segment that he gave, by the way, too, which is very fun. He shows how to make cauliflower buffalo. Instead of buffalo chicken wings, right? Buffalo cauliflower.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you go to the site, you'll see the interviews that he does with other players of sports and what his game plan, what his playbook look like, how he deals with it as an advocate for people with diabetes, and then sign up for the sweeps.
All right. Listen, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for your support of the Diabetes Way, and we'll hopefully have you on again soon.